Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Wish Infinite. In this video of Playwright with TypeScript series, I am going to talk about post call for API testing. So let's start. So what is post call? A post call in an API refers to a specific type of HTTP request method used to send data to a server. Post requests are primarily used to create or update data on server. When you make a post call, you send data along with the request in the request body. This data is usually formatted in the structured way such as JSON, which is JavaScript object notation, or XML, which is extensible markup language. And these are all the following components which we need to use to perform the post call. So first thing is base URL. With this, we would also be sending the resource. Apart from that, we would be providing header if it is required. And then we would also be sending body, or you can also call it data, with our post request. About all these components, I have already discussed into my previous video related to the introduction of APIs. If you have not watched this video, I would highly recommend you to watch this video. And apart from this introduction, I have also discussed about the GET call for the API testing, where we also discussed that what are all the different ways to pass the base URL and the headers with our HTTP calls. So if you have not watched these two videos, I will highly recommend you to watch these videos. I will provide link of these videos into the description, or you can click onto this I button at top right corner to access those videos. And as I told into my GET call for API testing video, I've shown the different ways to pass the base URL and headers with our HTTP call. So let me give you the quick recap of that. So there we checked that we can pass the base URL directly with the GET method like this. And if we want to pass the header with the GET method, so in that case, we will have to pass the second argument to this GET method, which will be an object where the key would be the headers and its value is going to be the object. And inside this object, we can provide key value pair for different headers. And into the second way, we checked that we can use this request.newContext, where we can import this request from the Playwright test module, where we can use this new context. And inside the new context, we need to pass an object where we can pass the key value pair for the base URL and its value. And also, if we want to pass the header, in that case, we will have to pass the key as the extra HTTP headers, and its value is going to be the object, where we can provide different headers with key and value pair. And if we use this way, so our base URL and the header would be applicable for all the HTTP calls inside this test. And into the third way, we have used the same new context way, where we have provided this request.newContext into the before all, where we have given one object inside the new context, and inside that new object, we have provided the base URL as the key and its value. And also for the header, we have used the same extra HTTP header as the key, and its value is the object, where we can provide multiple headers with the key and value pair. And if we provide the base URL and the headers with this third way, so it would be applicable for all the tests inside this test script file. And apart from that, there is one more way, which is the global way, where we have provided the base URL and the header inside the playwright.config.ts file. So inside this file, we have this define config, and inside the define config, there is an object where we need to go to the use key and its value would be the object. And inside this object, we would be providing the base URL with its value with the key and value pair. And similarly, we need to provide the header. So the key would be the extra HTTP headers and its value is going to be the object, where we can provide multiple headers with key and value pairs. And if we provide the base URL with this way, so it would be applicable for all the TypeScript file within your project. And I have given you the recap of all these four ways because we can use these ways with the post call also. So you can use any of the way. And into the previous video, as I told, mostly you would be having the common base URL and the headers. So in that case, you would be using this global way, where you would be providing this base URL and the header inside the playwright.config.ts file. So here I have already provided this base URL with its value, and also I have provided this header with field name as accept, and its value is application/JSON. And for this particular video, I am going to use this site, which is restful-booker, where we have this create booking API, where we would be looking for this create booking example. So here, if you will click onto this create booking, you would be able to see that it is for creating a new booking in the API, and it is using this post call. And this is the base URL with this booking resource. And here, if you will scroll down, so you would be able to see all the details which are required to perform this post call. So here it is using two headers. One is the content type and the second one is the accept. And for both of the headers, the value would be the application/JSON. We have already provided this accept. I would also add this content type as the header. And now they have mentioned this request body, where we need to provide all these fields like first name, last name, total price, deposit paid, check-in, checkout, and additional needs. And once you send this post call, so in return, you are going to get this 200 as the status code with this response details. And here onto the site, they have also provided this curl command, which you can directly use into a postman to import this post call. So let me copy this curl command. So if you will read this curl command, here also you would be able to see that this is the curl command, and here -x post means that it is going to perform the post call. And here we have this base URL with the resource, and after -h you would be able to see the header here, and after -d, which is for the data, you would be able to see that what is the exact body which we need to pass. So we can copy the same curl command as it is, and then we can go to the postman tool, and here you need to click onto the import, and once you click onto the import, you would be able to see this pop-up where you can provide the curl command directly, and once you paste that curl command, you would be able to see this post call request got created, where it has automatically selected this post as the HTTP method, and then it has added this base URL with this booking as the resource. And here if you will click onto this body, so you would be able to see that body also got copied here, where the body type is JSON, right? So that's why it has selected raw, and from this drop down it has selected the JSON. You can also click onto the header to check that what are all the headers which we need to pass, right? So into the curl command only this content-type was mentioned, so it has added that header only. But here into this document they have also told to add this accept, but without it also I've checked, it is working fine. If you want to provide both the headers, that is also well and good. And once I click onto this send, so it will send this post call with all these details, and into the response you would be able to see this status as 200 OK, and then if you will click onto this body, you would be able to see the response body here. And here we are able to see this status as 200 OK in case of this post. In your case, at some places you would also be seeing it as 201 created. So it depends that how developers have created the APIs and what are the status code we would be getting. So don't get confused about it, right? Now let's see how we can perform the same post call which we have performed here through the Playwright. So for that, I have already created one TypeScript file, which is API testing postcall.spec.ts inside the tests folder. And inside this file, I have imported the test from the Playwright test module, where I have added this test block with the title API testing -postcall1 and pass the second argument as the anonymous function. And with this anonymous function, we need to pass the request fixture. Previously also we discussed while performing the get call. So here with this anonymous function, we can provide the request fixture like this. So within the curly braces, you need to pass the request. And now to perform the post call, we need to use this request fixture. So here, let's type this request dot, and this time we need to use the post method. So previously while performing the get call, we have used this get method. So similarly here for the post call, we need to use the post method. And within the parenthesis, we need to pass the base URL with the resource. And as I told, we are going to use this global way to provide the base URL. So here I have already added the base URL. So here I just need to pass the resource only. So as the string, we need to provide that resource, and resource name was this booking. So / and booking. So now we have selected this post with the base URL into this playwright.config.ts file with this resource, which is booking. Now we need to pass the header. So the header is content type and its value is application /JSON. Let me copy it from here only. And here, as we are using the global way, so you can go to this playwright.config.ts file, where inside this use object, you need to add this extra HTTP headers, which we have already added, colon, and then you need to pass the object where you need to provide the key and value pair. So we have already added this accept application JSON. If you want to remove it, that is also okay, but we can provide both accept and content type. So after the comma, hit enter, and here you need to provide the key as the content type, and its value is going to be the application /JSON. So here also we can copy the same. So within the double quotes, I can pass this application JSON. And here if you will see, we are getting the error. Why? Because we need to provide this content -type within the quotes. So here I'm also adding the double quotes. And why I'm adding this double quotes? Previously I have not added it with this accept, because it is the single word, right? But this content -type are two different words separated by this semicolon. So if there are two words, so in that case you'll have to enclose them within the quotes. Otherwise you will get the error. So keep that in mind if you have any key with a combination of the words, right, which are separated by comma or the space, right? And if it is the single word, so it is not necessary to add that quote, right? If you will add it, that is also well. So now we have added the base URL, the post as the HTTP method, the resource, the header, and now we need to pass the request body. So this is the request body. So let me copy the same. And to pass this request body with our post call, you need to provide the second argument to this post call. So after the first argument, put the comma, and then we need to pass one object. And inside this object, as we need to pass the body, so for that, we would be using this data as the key, and its value is going to be that body, which we have copied from here. You can also copy it from this document. So this is our body. So after the data colon, you need to provide that body. So now we have added all the details related to the post call. And if you will mouse over onto this post call, so you would be able to see that this post call is going to return us the promise. And as it returning the promise, so for that, we will have to use this await keyword here. So wait. And then we can save this response, which we are going to receive from the post call within one variable. So for that, I can use this const and any variable name you can give. For now, I'm just giving this resp1. Any meaningful name you can give here. And for now, let me just add this response into the console log. So here, after this post call, we can add this console log. So console.log. And here I can use this response one, which I'm going to get. Dot the JSON response I need to log. So here I can provide that JSON method. And this JSON method also returns the promise. So here I would be using this await keyword here. Or what I can do, I can save this JSON response into one variable and then can pass this variable here inside the console log. So here I can give this const JSON response, any name you can give, equals to that await response one dot JSON method. And let's use this variable name, which is JSON response one, within this console log. And now let me execute the script so that we would be able to see the response. So see, we have got this pass test, and here is the response body into the JSON format, which we have console logged. So this is the booking ID number, which has got generated automatically. And this is the body which we have passed, right? So we have passed this Jim Brown as the first name and last name, total price, deposit paid, and these are all the booking dates and the additional leads. So we are getting the booking ID with whatever the body which we have sent, right? So it depends, right? What are all the response you are getting APIs to APIs. So for now, we have just console logged the response. But to perform the testing, we also need to provide the assertions onto the received response. So let's see what are all the different assertions which we can provide to validate this response. So most of the assertions also I have discussed into my previous video related to the get call. So mostly we would be using all those same assertions. Here we need to provide this expect, and you can click here, so it will automatically import this expect from the Playwright test module. See, it got imported here also. And then you need to put the parenthesis. Here we need to use this response one. So resp1, this one, dot status, which will return us the status code. And then we can validate this status with this dot to be method. And it should be 200, as we saw that once we perform this post call, we get this 200 as the status code. In some cases, you would also be getting 201. So accordingly, you can put the assertion for that. And all these details you would be getting with the help of the document which you are going to receive from your development team. Okay, so this is one assertion which would be checking that what is the status code which we have got. So any error happened while performing this post call, so in that case, we would be getting the different status code, and our this assertion will get failed. For now, it should get passed. So let me re-execute the script. See, we have got the one passed, and here if you will change the status code to something else, so let me change it to 300. Okay, and once I execute it, so in that case, I would be able to see the failed test here. See, we have got this failed test where it was expected to have this 300 as the status code, but we have received this 200. So purposefully we have failed it. Let's change it to 200 for now. And let me comment out this assertion. Now I will provide the second assertion where we can also validate this OK. So here you need to use this expect, and then we need to provide this response which we have received from the post call dot. And here you need to provide this status text, right? So status text is the method. And after the expect, we need to provide this dot to be, and it should be OK. So here I can provide the OK. In your case, if you are getting this created as the status text, so accordingly you can change it here. So now let me again execute the script, and we should be able to see the passed result. So if any change will happen into this response, and if you get any other status text, so you should be able to see the failed execution result here. Let me comment this one also. Now coming on to the third assertion. So here again we need to provide the expect and then the response one which we have received from the post call dot, and as we are going to receive this OK as the status, so here you can use this OK method, and here it should be truthy. So after the expect we need to provide to be truthy. So it is going to return as the true. So that's what we are checking, that response one dot OK, because we are going to get the OK as the status and it should be true. And again let's execute the script. So this assertion you would be able to use where you are receiving this OK as the status, right? Let's say if you are getting the created, so in that case you would not be able to use this type of assertion, right? Because only the OK method is available. There is no method available apart from this OK status. So let me comment it out for now. Now coming on to the next assertion where we would be validating this complete response body. So every time this booking ID is going to get changed, so I will be validating this part only. So whatever the response body which we are getting, where the booking related details are there, right? So for that, again, you need to provide this expect, and within this expect method, we need to provide the complete JSON response, right? And that's what we are going to validate. So let's provide this JSON response, and inside this JSON response also, we just want to validate this booking part. So here after the dot, you need to provide this booking, right? And what is this JSON response one? So here we have saved it, right? So we have used this response one, which we have received from this post call dot the JSON method. And here we need to use the await keyword because this JSON returns as the promise. And then we are using this JSON response dot booking as we just want to validate this booking part only. So any portion of the body you can validate, right? And here we need to provide this dot to match object is the method. So this is the method which you need to use to match object. And within the parenthesis, you need to pass the complete object which you want to validate, right? So this is our booking object, right? You need not to pass this booking colon, right? We are just validating this object against this particular response. So here let's paste this particular part here. And now once I execute this one, so I should be able to see the passed result. So see, we have got the passed result. And if any changes happen within the response, we will get to know because of this assertion. For now, let's purposefully fail this particular assertion. So here I will add the wrong value. So gym 1, breakfast 1 to 3. And if I execute it this time, so I'm going to get this actual response, right? But I am expecting this response. So purposefully I'm failing this one. And we should be able to see the failed result here. See, we have got the failed result. And here you would be able to see all the errors, that what are all the difference which we are getting. So here for this additional needs, this breakfast 1 to 3 was expected, but we have received this breakfast only, right? So purposefully I failed this one. But if any changes happened into your response, you would be get to know because of this particular assertion. And now let's provide the last assertion where I will be validating the specific item from the response. So for now we have just validated the complete object, right? But let's say I just want to validate that what is the additional needs which we are receiving from the response. So that also we can do. So here we need to provide this expect. And here again, I would be using this JSON response one. So let me copy it. JSON response one. And then inside the booking, we have this additional needs. So after the dot, you need to provide this bookings. And after the booking, we need to put the dot. And inside the booking, as we want to check this additional needs. So let's provide this additional needs here. And after the expect, you need to put the dot. And then we need to use the method which is to equal. And within the parenthesis, we can provide the correct value which we expect as the additional needs. So here it is breakfast. So let's provide the breakfast here. And let me comment out this previous assertion also. You can also use all the assertions together. But just for the practice purpose, I am commenting out these assertions so it would be easy for you to understand. Now let's execute the script again. And we should be able to see the past result, right? So any changes happen inside this additional needs item. So in that case, we would be able to see the failed report with the help of this assertion. Now let me remove the comment. So for your further reference, you can use these assertions. This is just the example which I've given, that how to perform the post call for the API testing. Similarly, you can also perform it for your project. Now let me give you one more example where we would be validating the API against the UI. So same thing we have looked for the get call also, where we have checked that whatever the response which we are getting through the get call is matching with the UI or not. So the same thing we are going to do for the post call. So for this, I'm going to use this particular site, which is demoblaze.com. Now open the developer tool here and go to the network tab. Here we would be able to see all the network requests which get performed. And now we will add one item to the cart. So let's open any of the item. So here we have this Nexus 6. Go to it. And then let's again clear these network requests. I'm clearing all these logs so that we would be easily able to identify that which request got performed. And now let's click onto this add to cart for the Nexus 6. And same item we should be able to see inside the cart, right? So for now, there are no items which are available, but once we will add that item into the cart so that we would be able to see it here. So now again, go to the home, go to this Nexus 6, and this time we will click onto the add to cart. Let me clear all these old logs. And once I click onto this add to cart, so see, one request is appearing. You can click onto this request, go to the header, and here we would be able to see this base URL. This post is the request method, and here we would also be able to see what are all the status code which we have got, what is the request header, response header, all the details we would be able to see here. So for your project also, you can try the same. And here, if you will click onto this payload, you would be able to see that what is the request body. You can also call it as the request payload, which we need to pass or which got passed. So here, this is the request body which got passed. Let me click onto the view source so that I would only be able to see the JSON format only. And now let's first copy the base URL. So this is the base URL, which is https://api.demoblaze.com. And this add to cart is the resource. So let me copy it. And after clicking onto this add to cart, if you will go to the cart, so we would be able to see the same item here, right? The Nexus 6. So I have copied this base URL with the resource. Let me create one more new test block here. So here, let's give the test. Here we can provide any title. So API with UI verification. Any title name you can give, comma, anonymous function we need to provide, where we need to use this request fixture. So within the curly braces, you need to give this request here, and then this arrow symbol, curly braces, and here we would be providing the post call. So again, we need to use this request fixture dot post method, and within the post method, we need to provide the base URL with the resource. So that's what we have copied. This is our base URL with the resource add to cart. And here, as we have added this base URL for this first test into this playwright.config.ts file, but here we are again providing this new base URL, so it will automatically get overwrite. Or to avoid the confusion, if you want to comment out this base URL here, that also you can do. So let me comment out this base URL and header part also. So here we have provided the base URL with the resource, and now we need to provide the body. So to provide the body, we need to put the comma after the first argument, and then we need to pass one object. So I've put these curly braces. And within the curly braces, we need to provide the key and value pair for the body or the payload. So here we need to give data as the key, colon, and its body is going to be this payload. Click onto the view source, and then I can copy this complete body from here. And let's add this body here. And this post method returns the promise. So we will use this await here. And we can save this response into one variable. So const resp2, any meaningful name you can give here. So with this, we will get the response. And now onto this response, we can provide one assertion. So here into this request, if you go to the headers, you would be able to see that we are receiving this status code as 200, right? So let's check this one only. So here, let's provide this expect. And within the expect, we need to provide this resp2 dot. And then we need to use this status method through which we would be getting the status code. And after the expect, we need to put dot to be, and it should be 200, right? And if you will see for this request, we are not getting any response. So we will not be able to provide any assertion on this. So for now, let's just validate the status code. And once I execute this test, so what will happen? It will perform this post call onto this particular base URL for the add to cart resource, where we are sending this particular request body. So what will happen? Once this post call is performed, it should be able to add one item into the cart, and same item should be visible onto the UI also. And now let me refresh this page just to quickly check that our cart is empty. Okay, so our cart is empty, there is nothing. But once I execute this test, this post request will get performed and it will add one item. For now, this Nexus 6 should be added, right? We have added this body for that Nexus 6. So all the details, ID, product ID is related to the Nexus 6. So it should be visible onto the UI. And this test should get passed with this assertion where we are getting this 200 as the status code. So let me click onto this run. So see, execution got passed. When passed, we are able to see. And here, let me refresh the screen so that we should be able to see that Nexus 6 got added, right? One item got added. So this is just the example which I wanted to show you, that on performing the post call, the changes are happening onto the UI. If you want to validate the UI, so you can also do that. And I am leaving this up to you to perform the UI validation as the assignment, where simple steps you need to follow. First, you would be using the page fixture, right? And by using this page fixture, you need to go to this particular link, which is www.demobliss.com. So for that, you would be using this page.goto method. And once this page is open, you would be logging in into the application. So for that, you need to click onto this login. Then you would be entering the username and password. Then you would be clicking onto this login button and you will get logged in. And here simply you need to go to this cart, and then here you would be validating that this item got added into the cart or not. So you need to write the simple Playwright script to perform this validation, and make sure you log in with the correct user for which you have taken this body. Okay, because you are adding item for this user, and for the same user you need to perform the UI validation. And if you are not having this username and password, so you can create your credentials using this sign up option, so that you would be able to get the credentials. You try to perform this UI validation and let me know if you are having any issue into the comment section. And that's it for this particular video. Let me give you the quick recap. So here we saw that post requests are mainly used to create or update data onto the server. And when we make the post call, we need to send data along with the request in the request body. And to perform the post call into the postman, you need to select the post from here. You need to provide the base URL with the resource. If any headers are applicable, then you need to provide that. And then you need to provide the body here. So we have provided the body into the JSON format. So that's why we have selected raw and JSON here. And then you need to click onto the send. You will get the response with the status code into the postman. And similarly, we can perform this post call with the help of Playwright. And for that, you need to use this post method. So first we have provided this request fixture here. And then by using this request fixture, we need to provide this post method here, where we need to provide the base URL with the resources. And for this example, we have provided the base URL with the header into this playwright.config.ts file only. So here we just need to provide the resource here. And then we need to pass the second argument, which would be the object, where we need to pass the key as the data to pass the body or the payload. Then after the colon, we need to pass the complete payload, which we want to pass as the request body or the request payload. Any term you can use, request body, request payload, both are same. Okay, so by this, we have passed the request body here for our post request, and then we have saved the response into one variable, and we need to use this await with this post, as this post method returns the promise. And then onto this response, we can provide different assertions. So here we have seen that we can use this response1.status to get the status code, and then we can validate it like this. We have also validated the status text. So within the expect, we need to provide this response.status text, and it should be okay. So here we have provided dot to be okay. We have also validated that this okay method should return us the true value, and then we have validated it to be truthy. And here we have also validated the complete booking object. So for that, first we need to convert this response into the JSON format, right? So for that, we have used this response.json method, which will give us the response into the JSON format. And then from this JSON response, we can access any item. Here we have accessed the booking details. And on that, we have used this .toMatch object method, where we have provided complete booking object, which we got from the response. So it will validate this expected response against this response, which we get from the post call. Here we saw that we can also validate the specific item from the response. And for that, we have used this same JSON response .booking, and inside the booking, we were having this additional needs. And on that, we have used this .toEqual method to validate that it should be breakfast. So accordingly, you can use these type of assertions into your project. And then we also saw that on performing the post call, that how it is affecting the UI, right? So here we saw that we have performed the post call, and with the help of it, we have added one item into the cart, and same thing we validated onto the UI that it was reflecting here or not, right? If you want to perform the UI testing after this, that also you can do for your project if it is applicable, right? And that's it from my end. You can click onto this first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access the whole Playwright tutorial playlist, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos. You would also be seeing some more videos onto the API testing. If you have any comments, questions, or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.